Cowboys Nation, buckle up, because what just unfolded in Dallas has officially turned an already high-octane offseason into one of the most chaotic, emotional, and downright shocking news cycles we've seen in years, and I'm telling you right now, this situation involving Trevon Diggs and the Cowboys' sudden, drastic organizational decision is the kind of story that sends shockwaves through not just the fan base, but the entire NFL landscape. The moment the news broke, everyone, media members, analysts, insiders, former players, fans, rivals, everyone stopped what they were doing, because Trevon Diggs is not just another name on the roster. He is a franchise cornerstone, a game changer, a player whose presence alone demands attention from offensive coordinators and quarterbacks all across the league. The fact that he is suddenly out and that the Cowboys responded by making a move so dramatic and so unexpected that even seasoned insiders were caught off guard has turned this into the kind of breaking news that fuels debate shows for weeks and keeps fans glued to every update. And the reaction online has been absolutely explosive, with Cowboys Twitter erupting, Cowboys Reddit crashing threads with thousands of comments, and every fan in the country asking the same question: what does this mean for the Cowboys going forward, and how does this reshape the identity of a defense that has relied heavily on the playmaking ability, instincts, swagger, and confidence that Trevon Diggs brings every single time he steps on the field? Because let's be honest, Diggs has been one of the most electrifying cornerbacks in the NFL since he burst onto the scene with that unbelievable interception run. The kind of season that players rarely replicate, but that instantly cements a legacy. And even beyond that statistical explosion, Diggs developed into a player whose presence forced teams to fundamentally alter their game plans. Quarterbacks would think twice before throwing his way. Offensive coordinators would shift their route concepts just to avoid his side of the field. Wide receivers knew they were in for a battle every snap, and now, suddenly, without warning, he's out. And the Cowboys front office responded not with a minor tweak, not with a simple next man up statement, but with a move, whether it's a strategic decision, roster adjustment, depth chart shakeup, or something deeper behind the scenes, that instantly raised eyebrows across the entire league. This kind of decision doesn't happen casually. It doesn't happen without internal urgency. It doesn't happen unless the Cowboys believe they have to drastically alter their defensive approach in order to survive what comes next. And that's what makes today's news such a bombshell. The ripple effects extend far beyond the headline. It's not just that Diggs is unavailable. It's that the Cowboys leadership looked at the situation and determined that the team cannot simply proceed as normal. It changes everything. Schemes, responsibilities, pressure on the pass rush, roles within the secondary, expectations for depth players, and even the emotional energy of the team as a whole. Think about it. A defense that built its identity around aggressive ball hawking, around forcing turnovers, around making quarterbacks uncomfortable, now has to recalibrate without the guy who embodied that philosophy more than anyone else on the roster. And yes, the Cowboys still have tremendous talent, Micah Parsons, multiple young corners, playmaking safeties, and a coaching staff that knows how to scheme pressure, but losing a top-tier corner like Diggs fundamentally alters the dynamic. This isn't just about replacing talent, it's about replacing confidence, swagger, intimidation factor, and the ability to erase mistakes with one spectacular play. And that's where the shock value of the Cowboys' sudden decision comes in, because instead of quietly absorbing the loss or hoping internal depth would be enough, they opted to go bold, to make a statement, to shift something foundational about the defense, and fans are scrambling to figure out what this means long term. Were the Cowboys planning a major defensive overhaul already? Did Diggs' situation accelerate a decision that had been in discussion for months? Or was this a reaction out of pure necessity because the team believes the NFC landscape is too competitive to stand still? whatever the case, one thing is clear. The Cowboys are treating this moment as a turning point, and the rest of the league is taking notice. Opposing offenses are looking at this development with interest because they know that without Diggs, the Cowboys secondary immediately becomes more vulnerable, more attackable, more stretched thin, and you better believe every NFC rival, from divisional opponents to conference contenders, is already discussing how they'll adjust their game plan to exploit this change. Meanwhile, fans are panicking, debating, arguing, predicting, and trying to make sense of the avalanche of implications. Some are convinced the Cowboys need to make an urgent acquisition. Others believe they should trust their depth and coaching. Some are calling this the beginning of a major defensive identity change. Others think it could be a short-term setback that ultimately strengthens the team once adjustments settle in. And that's where the discussion gets even deeper, because in the NFL, adversity can sometimes be the catalyst that forces a team to evolve into something even better. Maybe a younger corner gets thrust into a bigger role and becomes a breakout star. Maybe the pass rush becomes even more dominant to compensate. Maybe the coaching staff designs new coverages that end up being more effective than what they were running before. Or maybe this sparks a roster move nobody saw coming, something aggressive, something that reshapes expectations for the entire season. And that's really the heart of the conversation tonight. The Cowboys are at a crossroads, and the decision they made today, in the wake of Diggs' sudden unavailability, is a signal that they refuse to let the season slip away without fighting back with everything they have. And I think that's why fans are so emotionally charged right now. It's not just the loss of a star player, it's the uncertainty about what comes next, the anticipation of more moves, the anxiety about whether Dallas can maintain its standing as a top-tier NFC contender, and the frustration that, yet again, the Cowboys find themselves navigating major adversity at a crucial moment. But here's the thing, and Cowboys fans need to hear this. This team has been through adversity before, and every single time they've shown resilience. Every championship caliber team, every playoff contender, every organization with real ambition eventually hits a roadblock that tests their structure, their depth, their leadership, and their will to push forward. And this might be that moment for the Cowboys. This might be the challenge that forces them to evolve into something stronger, more dynamic, and more cohesive. And while losing Trevon Diggs is undeniably a blow, it is not the end of the road, not even close. The coaching staff will adjust, the players will step up, the front office will explore every option. And Cowboys Nation, even with all the emotions swirling right now, is still behind this team, still hungry, still expecting greatness. The question is no longer, what do the Cowboys do now? But rather, how will the Cowboys respond? And that response, whatever form it takes, will shape this entire season. So for everyone watching, for all of Cowboys Nation, for every NFL fan following this massive breaking story, stick around, stay engaged, because this moment, as shocking as it is, could end up defining the Cowboys' path moving forward. And no matter what happens next, you can be sure of one thing. This story is far from over.